Now we want to use this process of completing the square to solve a quadratic equation. But remember again, we need to be in standard form or somewhat standard form. Standard form, recall, is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to take this equation that we have and we're going to take our 12x and we want to get it to the other side of the equation. So to do that, I subtract 12x from both sides. That gives me x squared minus 12x equals a negative 20. Now, I left the space here because I want to use the process of completing the square to fill in that space. So, to complete the square, we look at our b term, which is negative 12. We pull that out. So it gives us a negative 12. We divide that by 2, and then we square it. Well, if we take negative 12 and divide it by 2, that gives us a negative 6. We square that. And remember, whenever I square a negative number, it becomes positive. So a negative 6 squared is going to give me a positive 36. So I'm going to add that back in here. But remember, I also have to observe the rules of an equation. Whatever I add to one side of an equation, I must add to the other side. So I must also add this to the other side of the equation. That's an important step that people tend to forget sometimes, but you've got to remember to do that. Otherwise, your equation is not going to come out correctly. So once we do that, let's simplify what we've got. We've now got x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals, and we have a negative 20 plus 36. Notice the signs are opposite, so we take the difference, and the difference between 36 and 20 is going to be 16. And notice the sign of the larger number is positive, so 16 is going to be positive. Now, we're going to focus back on this side that we completed the square on, and we want to factor this into two binomials. So the factors of x squared are going to be x, and we look at 36, positive 36, and we have a negative 12. Notice that the middle term is negative, the constant term is positive. That's an indicator that both factors of 36 are both negative, because remember, I have to multiply two negatives to get a positive. So therefore, if I factor 36, the factors of 36 that add up to negative 12 are minus 6 and minus 6. So now I have it factored. Just a few more steps and we about have this equation complete, or is this solution complete? So we rewrite the two binomials as x minus 6 quantity squared is equal to 16. Now, our goal, remember, is to solve this. So in order to solve that, notice the square that I have. That is an indicator that I need to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to take the square root of x minus 6 quantity squared, and that's equal to the square root of 16. Remember, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side to keep it balanced. So if I take the square root of the square root eliminates the square, so that leaves me with x minus 6, I drop the parenthesis, is equal to the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is plus or minus 4. You have to consider the positive and the negative when you do the square root. Now, we're almost there. One more thing we need to do. We want to get the negative 6 to the other side, so we add 6 to both sides. So x is going to equal 6 plus or minus 4. Now that may look a little odd to you, but remember, when we're finding the solutions to a quadratic equation, there's always two solutions. So that's what the plus and minus does. That's where it comes in. So we're going to have x equals 6 plus 4 and x equals 6 minus 4. If we simplify those, our solutions are going to be x equals 6 plus 4, which is 10, and x equals 6 minus 4, which is 2. So the solutions to this quadratic equation are x equals 10 and x equals 2.